Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Happy New Year to you. This is the first mini concert of 2026. It's number 304. First up tonight I got an Eric Vogel song. He wrote lots of songs about lots of subjects, but he did a lot about World War I. I was a young man, I carried me pack, and I lived the free life of a rover. From the Murray's green basin to the dusty outback, I would waltz my Matilda all over. But then in 1916, my country said, son, it's time to stop rambling, there's work to be done. They gave me a tin hat and they gave me a gun, and they marched me away to the war. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as the ship pulled away from the quay, and amidst all the tears, flag waving and cheers, sailed off for Gallipoli. I'll never forget that terrible day when our blood stained the sands and the waters, and how in that hell that they called Scotsman Bay, we were butchered like lambs at the slaughter. Well, Johnny Turkey was ready, he primed himself well. He rained us with bullets and he showered us with shells. And in 5 minutes flat, we were all blown to hell. He nearly blew us back home to Australia. And the band played Waltzing Matilda, and we stopped to bury our slain. We buried ours, then the Turks buried theirs. Then it started all over again. Well, those who remained tried to survive in this mad world of blood, death, and fire. For 10 weary weeks I kept myself alive, while the corpses around me piled higher. Then a big Turkish shell blew me arse overhead, and when I awoke in me hospital bed, seen what it had done, well, I wished I was dead. I never knew there were worse things than dying. So no more I'll go waltzing Matilda all around the green bush far and free. Both legs. No more waltzing Matilda for me. Well, they gathered the injured, the wounded, the maimed, and they took us back home to Australia. The armless, the legless, the blind, the insane, those proud wounded heroes of Stewball. And when the ship pulled into Circular Quay, I looked at the place where my legs used to be. Thanks Christ, there was no one there waiting for me to mourn and to grieve and to pity. And the band played Waltzing Matilda as they carried us down the gangway. Nobody cheered, they just stood there and stared, and they turned their faces away. Well, now every April I sit on the porch living their days of past glory. While the old men march slowly, all bent stiff and sore, the forgotten heroes of a forgotten war. And the young people ask, what are they marching for? And I ask myself the same question. And the band plays Waltzing and Matilda, and the old men still answer the call. But year after year, their numbers get fewer. Soon no one will march here at all. Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda, who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? And their ghosts can't be heard as they march by the billabong. Who'll come a waltzing Matilda with me? So that is called The Band Played Waltzing Matilda. Let's get a little bit more upbeat here. This is the Peter, Paul, and Mary song. Stewball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. Well, his bridle was silver, and his mane it was gold. The worth of his saddle has never been told. Well, the fairgrounds were crowded, and Stewball was there. The betting was heavy on the bay and the mare. Well, I bet on the gray mare, and I bet on the bay. If I'd have bet on old Stewball, I'd be a free man today. It's way out yonder, ahead of them all, came a dancing and a prancing, that noble Stewball. Well, the hoot owl she hollered, and the turtle dove moans, for a poor boy in trouble, I'm a long way from home. Stewball was a racehorse, and I wish he were mine. He never drank water, he always drank wine. So that is Stewball. I hear there's another version on the other side of the Atlantic. It's called Stewball. I'm listening to it. I may or may not do it. If I do, I'll tell you. I want to thank everybody that shows up and watches. We're averaging over 300 viewers a week for the last 3 or 4 weeks. I really appreciate it. I wish I could thank you all by name, but unfortunately I can't tell who's watching unless you make a comment or click a like or one of the emojis. Even a not like, then I'll know who you are too. Next up is a Stan Rogers song. The real name of
of the song is the Mary Ellen Carter, but it's also known as the Resurrection Song, which I think you'll understand as you listen to the song. Well, she went down last October in a pouring, driving rain. Skipper had been drinking, and the matey felt no pain. Too close to 3 Mile Rock, and she was dealt her mortal blow. The Mary Ellen Carter sailed low. There were just us 5 aboard her when she finally was awash. We worked like hell to save her, heedless of the cost. And the groan she gave as she went down caused us to proclaim that the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. That her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. All those who loved her best and were with her till the end will help the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Well, all spring now we've been with her on a barge lent by a friend. 3 dives a day in a hard hat suit, twice I've had the bends. Thank God it's only 60 feet and the currents here are slow, or I'd never have the strength to go below. So we packed her in, set, stopped her best, dock hatch and portholes down, rigged cables to her fore and aft, girded her around. And tomorrow noon we'll hit the air, then take up the strain and watch the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. That her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. All those who loved her best and were with her till the end will help the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Well, we couldn't leave her there, you see, to crumble into scale. She saved our lives so many times, sailing through the gales. And the laughing drunken rats that left her to her sorry grave, well, they won't be laughing in another day. All you to whom adversity has dealt the final blow, with smiling bastards lying to you everywhere you go, turn to and put out all your strength of arm and heart and brain, like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, rise again. Though your heart it be broken and your life about to end, no matter what you lost, be at home, a love, a friend, be like the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. Rise again, oh rise again. That her name not be lost to the knowledge of men. All those who loved her best and were with her till the end will help the Mary Ellen Carter rise again. So that's called the Mary Ellen Carter, or the Resurrection Song, whichever you prefer. And next up is Gordon Lightfoot song. Karen was listening to some old records a while back and discovered this one for me. Having trouble starting out here. I'm going to have to come back to that one because I can't remember how to start it. So I'm going to do the Scotsman instead. okay, when I remember the words. I'll come back to that one. This is the fun song about a Scotsman who has a couple of drinks. What happens to him?
Oh, the Scotsman, dressed all in his kilt, went to bar one evening fair. You could tell by the way he walked that he drank more than his share. He staggered on until he could no longer keep his feet, and then he stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. Ring ding diddly lie-dee-o, ring diddly-lie-o. Well, he stumbled off into the grass to sleep beside the street. Just then two lovely lassies happened to pass by, and the one said to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See yonder sleeping Scotsman, so strong and handsome built. Well, I wonder if it's true that he wears nothing beneath that kilt." Ring ding diddly lie-dee-o, ring diddly-lie-o. Well, I wonder if it's true that he wears nothing beneath that kilt. So they crept up on the Scotsman, quiet as could be, lifted up his kilt about an inch so they could see. What do you suppose they found beneath that Scottish skirt? Why, nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Ring ding diddly lie-dee-o, ring diddly-lie-o. Nothing more than God had graced him with upon his birth. Well, the one said to the other, "It's time we should be gone, but let's leave him a present before we travel on." So they left a piece of ribbon tied up into a bow around the bonny star Scotsman's kilted lift and show. Ring ding diddly lie-dee-o, ring diddly-lie-o. All around the bonny star Scotsman's kilted lift and show. Well, the Scotsman rose to nature's call and he headed for the trees, lifted up his kilt, then he gawks at what he sees, and in a strangled voice he says, what's before his eyes? "Oh lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize." Ring ding diddly lie-dee-o, ring diddly-lie-o. "Oh lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you won first prize."
That's called Scotsman. Now we'll go back to our Lightfoot song.
Go first in the world, go forth with your fears. Remember, a price must be paid. Be always too soon, never too fast, at the time when all bets must be laid. Beware of the darkness, be kind to your children. Remember the woman who waits, and the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger that stands at the gate. Go out in the gale, full under sail, beware of the danger below. And the song that you sing should not be too sad, and be sure not to sing it too slow. Be calm in the face of all common disgraces, and know what they're doing it for. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity
When you're out in the world feeling quite lost, remember the burden of fame. And he who is wise will not criticize when other men fail at the game. Beware of strange faces, dark dingy places, be careful while bending the law. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger that stands at the door. When you're down in the dumps, not ready to deal, decide what it is that you need. Is it money or love, learning to live, or is it the mouth you must feed? Be known as a man who will always be candid on questions that do not relate. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger that stands at the gate. And the house you live in will never fall down if you pity the stranger that stands at the gate. I guess that's a piece of philosophy from Gordon Lightfoot. That's called The House You Live In. And that's mini concert number 304. Thanks for coming. Keep showing up. I appreciate you.